Today, we're going to be answering the question, why Sketch Malta? I'm here with Renata Lajal from Spain, and we're going to be talking about the geography, the history, the weather, all the beautiful things that there are to sketch in Malta, and what a great place it is to take a sketching vacation. So if you're interested in sketching in Malta, watch this video.
Yes, with Brenda, we thought to do this live because I haven't been there yet, and Brenda likes a lot and wanted to share with you what we can do there. So tell me, Brenda, about what you think why you think Malta is a great place to sketch.
Okay, yes, happy to answer that question. So Malta is just a gorgeous little jewel of an island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. It's very clean, very bright, very beautiful. I want to tell you a little bit about it. I think it's the geography of Malta, the history of Malta, the architecture and the culture of Malta makes it a really fantastic place to go and sketch, and it's very easy to get to. All right. Yes, so Malta is a beautiful, beautiful, sunny city on a little island in the middle of the Mediterranean. And it is, I'm going to have to look it up, it is about 80 kilometers or 50 miles south of Italy and about 176 miles east of Tunisia. So it's right at the same longitudinal line as the north part of Africa. And it is just a beautiful little island. It's been occupied it's been inhabited for 5,900 years, and it's a long time. So it's a lot of history is there. And it's a modern city now, with beautiful buildings and churches and temples and so on, and with gorgeous blue sea, a sort of blue and turquoise sea all around it, blue skies. It's just a beautiful spot. So it's an island, but it doesn't have like that beach vibe that you might think of. You know, it's not like Cozumel or someplace like that. It's more of a actual European city, but a very small city. Really, between a small city and a big town, I would say. And it's just beautiful. So I'll just skip through, give you another idea of Malta. There it is. There's the location of it. You can see it's between Italy and Tunisia. So this Malta used to be part of a land bridge that connected North Africa to Europe, you know, thousands of years ago. And then because of the last ice age, you know, parts of it, you know, sunk into the sea, and then what's left was Malta, this tiny island. Because it was in this strategic position in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, what happened is that it was taken over, it was invaded many, many times in its long history by the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, the Romans, the Greeks, the Arabs, the Normans, the Knights of St. John, the French, and then finally the British. Because all of those different cultures had invaded it over thousands of years, wasn't very nice for the people who were living there at the time, obviously. But now what we're left with is a place that has a lot of culture and has been imprinted by a lot of different cultures. So there's lots of different things to sketch and draw there. That are quite interesting because of the influence of these other cultures. So when we're there, we're going to be staying in a gorgeous hotel. It's a 5-star hotel at a very cheap price, which is really amazing. And it's a huge hotel with huge lobbies, and it's quite beautiful. And the hotel that we're staying in is right on the sea. In fact, I had a chance to swim in the Mediterranean when I was there. It has over 400 rooms. It's got indoor and outdoor pools, and it's just absolutely spectacular.
Ah, yes, very nice. But will be the weather like in Malta in November?
In November, I think it's the average high is 22 Celsius, which is 72 Fahrenheit. And at night, it goes down to a low of 17 Celsius, which is around 62 Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what
This
is
is This is
Yeah.
the hotel as well where we're staying. This pool is it's very beautiful. Our hotel, yeah.
What is the food like in Malta, Brenda?
So because it's so close to Italy, it has a lot of Italian food. So a lot of pastas and things like that are there. And in fact, everybody speaks the two official languages of Malta are English and Maltese. But 66% of the population speaks Italian. So it's got a kind of an Italian vibe to it. It's, you know, you'll see men and ladies at lunchtime, you know, who work there, not tourists, I'm talking locals, and they'll have like their little suits on and they'll come down and they'll have their little espresso coffees, you know, with their tight little suits on, and a kind of an Italian vibe to it, which is really fun. It's just really a fun place for that. Yeah.
On what will be doing the cultural part there?
Yeah, so I want to show you this picture here before I click away. This is because it's an island, it is surrounded by gorgeous turquoise water and gorgeous beaches all around. Now, we're not going to the beach when we're there, but I would recommend that people definitely take some time and go to the beach and see these beautiful beaches. And in fact, when I was there last year, I took a couple of days ahead of time and I went out to Gozo, which is an adjacent island, part of Malta, and we had a great time discovering, you know, the beaches in Gozo. It was really lovely. This is just a neighborhood that's looking across the bay in Malta at a part of the city. You can see how they light it up at night. It's really very beautiful. And then this would be it in the day. So I just want to mention this Malta was used at least twice, I know of, as a backdrop, as a set for movies. So it was it stood in for Jerusalem in the movie what is it called now? Murder on the Orient Express with Johnny Depp. This was supposed to be Jerusalem. And then it also, while I was there last year, they were filming Gladiator 2. And they had a set up across the bay. You could see where they're filming Gladiator 2. Anyway, cultural things, yeah. So when we're there, we're going to be going on a cruise boat, a little boat, a ferry boat, really, of the two bays. And the bays are called the Grand Harbor Bay. And the other one, I have to read it. It's the Marshamset Harbor. And I have to read it because I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But we do a little harbor cruise out into the harbor and back again. And so you get those Pinterest angles, you know, for photography, like this one. You can get some nice photos. And we're going to be really exploring the capital city. So the capital city is Valletta, and Valletta is right on the water. It's a little piece of land that juts out into the water with these two big bays on either side, full of gorgeous, very expensive yachts, and boats are in both bays. And so when we're there, we're going to do the harbor cruise, and then we're going to explore every part of it. So this would be the I think this is the lower Baraka Gardens that are there, and these are gardens that were built with a lot of trees and stuff. I think artificially placed. I don't think they have a lot of natural trees and things because it's quite an arid island. And so they built these beautiful gardens, the upper Baraka garden, the lower Baraka garden, and filled them with trees and fountains and little Roman temples and things like that. So we can sketch here. We sketched in this location last year, and it was just really a lovely place to sketch. And this is Fort St. Elmo, which is it's a fortified city. All of Valletta, the whole city is surrounded by these huge, thick stone walls that were built over the years to protect the city because it was invaded so many times. And so it's just a really spectacular. The walls go on forever. You're just looking at these walls forever. So there's a lot of fortification walls that go all around, and this is and you can see even across the bay more fortification walls over here. And that's not even in Valletta, that's across the bay. And the other thing we're going to be doing is taking a little ride on one of these boats. This is a skiff, and its name is called a gadshiz. And these little skiffs have been going across the bay to the other side for thousands of years. The one we ride in, they don't use the oars. They actually use a motor. But it's
Okay.
pretty cool to think that for thousands of years, people have been using these little skiffs to go across the bay. And I heard a fun story that that there was a driver of one of these Gadshiz skiffs, and he challenged a boater, a driver of a gondola from Venice, that he could row faster in his skiff than the gondola driver. So they took the boat to Venice, and they had the boat race in Venice, and the Maltese driver won. And that was in 1950. And since that day, these boats have been banned from Venice. They're not allowed to go in.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to take one of these little skiffs across the bay to Burgoo and check that out. And it's super fun to go over there. There's a gorgeous church over there. This churches are just covered in tiny white light bulbs, and at night they light them up, and the whole thing is very lit up and very beautiful. And we're also going to go and visit the Hagar Kim archaeological site, and that's it there. And that archaeological site dates back between 3200 and 3600 BC. It's one of the oldest freestanding man-made structures in the world. It's even older than Stonehenge. And the whole thing it's in a circle, of course, they always are, and it's incised. All the stone is incised with designs. A lot of spirals were very popular, and then just little, I don't know, like little dots dug out, little tiny holes dug out over the whole thing, like a pattern. So it's quite beautiful and super fun to sketch. And we're going to go and sketch that. There's one of the stones from 3,200 years ago that was carved out in these spiral designs, a lot of spiral designs, which I think are kind of mystical. I don't know why spiral designs are so popular. So this Hagar Kim archaeological site, it was a place where they, I think, did sacrifices, not human, and they were worshiping a fertility goddess thousands of years ago. And they found these stone carvings were from the Hagar Kim site. And they're now in the Archaeological Museum in Valletta. So we'll visit both the original Hagar Kim archaeological site, but we'll also go into the Archaeological Museum that's right in town in Valletta. And there's a lot of stone carvings like this, and lots of other really interesting things to see and sketch in the museum, which is really fun. We did that when we were there. Lots of stone fertility gods and stuff like that. Do you think that that's fun to sketch, Renata?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me remember some other statues we saw in Venice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So, and we'll also be visiting the Marshak's Lock, which I also am probably not pronouncing properly. That's the original Maltese name. And that's a fishing village in the south part of the island. And it's famous and very popular because of the fishing boats that are there. These boats are called Lutsu, and on either side of the prow, and I don't know if you can see that, is the Eye of Osiris. They put these eye carvings in onto the boats, and they date back to Phoenician times. It's something that was left behind by the Phoenicians, and it's supposed to bring good luck. So it's supposed to protect the fishermen and bring good luck. And interestingly enough, the Eye of Osiris is everywhere in the Mediterranean, and it's all over Greece as well. And people carve them onto their doors, over their doors, so that the household will be protected. And this is a carving in the stone in Malta, the Eye of Osiris. It's always watching and protecting. So I think that's kind of cool, fun to sketch that. We're also going to go and visit Medina. And Medina is another walled city. It's in the interior part of Malta. And it was, you know, built, of course, 1,000 years ago, and it's completely walled in, and it's a fortress really, with a cathedral and lots of winding little alleyways, and you have to cross this bridge to get into it. So it's a very small opening to get in for strategic reasons, for, you know, to protect it. And it's a fortified city with the huge stone walls. And we'll also be visiting the Mosta Church. The Mosta Church is an interesting place because in World War II, it was bombed, and a bomb dropped right through the domed roof during a mass that was being held there. And this bomb dropped right in, and it did not explode. It didn't go off. It was a dud. And so there were more than 300 people in the sanctuary at the time, and nobody was hurt, and the bomb didn't go off. So they call it a miracle. And when we go there, we'll be visiting, going inside, and you can still see that bomb. It's sitting there to the side inside this church. It's kind of cool. It's also a really fun place a thing to sketch, because look at the design on the outside of the building. It's quite beautiful, and the inside is beautiful as well. So this is another street scene from Medina, and you can see that the buildings have a lot of that yellow limestone. So you want to pack yellow paint color, ochre, the ochre color, because there's just a lot of that when you're there.
Nice also.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So also I want to tell you a little story about the history of Malta, and that is that, as I said, it was invaded many times, and the invasions happened in 1565, and it was when they call it the Great Siege of Malta, and it's really a big event that they commemorate there, when the Ottoman Empire attacked Malta, and at that time it was being ruled by the Knights of St. John. And so they attacked Malta in retaliation for the Knights of St. John, who had been blocking their fleets and their shipping lanes for a long time. So they retaliated and they attacked Malta. And they were fighting outside the tiny island for quite a long time. And the Grand Master, Jean de Valletta, said, "Do not surrender, keep fighting." And so they did, but the Ottoman soldiers finally broke through at Fort St. Elmo, and they butchered everybody inside, and they wanted to try to discourage the fighters. So they chopped up the bodies of the dead knights, and they attached them to boards, and they floated them into the Grand Harbor, so that everyone could see, oh no, we've been defeated, and would be discouraged. And so in retaliation, the knights chopped off the heads of all of the Muslim soldiers and threw them back at them. And so that was like a very brutal, the siege of Malta in 1565. It's talked about all the time. It's part of their culture, their history, and celebrated. And so eventually they had some support ships that came in to help the Maltese people at that time, and they fought back the Ottomans, and they left. And so, yay, the Maltese people won that particular battle, and that's just part of their history, and it's talked about a lot. So, and I also want to point out this structure here sticking out of the side of the fortification wall is called a bartizan, and it's used as a lookout point on the wall, and they're pretty cool. And if you look closely, you can see that over top is carved also the Eye of Osiris. So and an ear, which is really kind of funny. And what it means is that they're always listening and always watching to protect the city. Just lots of beautiful things to sketch in Malta, the temples and churches.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very
and
nice.
yeah, and you know, the streets, they also have their architecture is known for having these enclosed balconies, so that you can go out into the balcony and look down onto the street and people can't see you in theory. I think they probably could, but there's a lot of those, they're called pregnant balconies as well. And yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. A lot of ancient art there that's left behind by all of these cultures, beautiful mosaics and churches.
Very nice.
I love mosaics, they're super fun. Everywhere you see the swirl design. And there's another picture of
Windows.
the closed balconies. Yeah, the Maltese cross. There we go. The thing about Malta is that it's actually easy to get to. They have their own airline, the Air Malta. I flew in from Marseille, but you can also fly in, I think, from Amsterdam and from Paris. So it's an easy connection. And the hotel that we're staying in has offered to pick us up for free from the airport. You know, they stand with the little sign with your name on it. So it would be a nice, easy place to get to.
Somebody asked how long do we are going to sketch every day. I
So
would answer it depends of you also.
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so Studio 56 workshops are equal parts art class and cultural experience, because really there's no point in flying all the way to Malta if you're not going to see Malta. So we try to do it equal parts our art class. So Renata will be teaching in the morning, her art class, but really we tell people bring your sketchbook with you throughout the day, because wherever we go, if we're going to an archaeological museum or an archaeological site, or we're visiting a church, or we're going in the boat across the skiff, you know, in one of those skiffs to the church, you know,
We
wherever
had
we go.
in Venice, we just were there. A lot of people filled up their sketchbook because they were sketching during the course, and then after the whole day around in the boats, in the museum, in the visits. And that's the part I say depends of you. You can sketch as long as you want after also the class.
Yeah, yeah, we take every opportunity to sketch, because that's what we're doing, and that's fun, right? Any other questions?
What are the art class? The art class will be about travel sketching, how to create a creative drawing in a double page, how to see the things and do a very nice page, creative page.
Yeah, cool. Do we
Another
have any more
question?
questions, Renata? I don't have it open, so I can't see.
Yes, I have it open, but I don't have any other question.
Okay. Just trying to think if there's anything we've missed. Yeah, I'm not sure that the name Malta means place of sweetness or place of honey. And in fact, Maltese people are known for being hospitable. And I remembered that Malta was actually mentioned in the Bible in Acts 28, because St. Paul shipwrecked on the island of Malta. And it says there that the people were very hospitable and kind to him. And in fact, there is a church in downtown Malta called the Church of the Shipwreck. And it has it supposedly has what do you call those? It has the bone of from St. Paul. So the deadline, if people are interested in joining us, the deadline for the early bird $200 discount is July the 5th. And we would love it if you could join us. I'm gonna stop share screen here, I think. If I can, maybe I can't. Oh, okay, maybe I can. Anyway, that's fine. So the deadline for the $200 discount is July the 5th. And I would love it if you could join us. And if you have any questions, you can email Studio 56 and we'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, that's really all I had to say about Malta. It's a great place to sketch. There's like churches, temples, boats, big boats, yachts, sailboats, tiny skiffs, archaeological sites, archaeological, carvings and, pottery and all that kind of stuff. Beautiful pedestrian only streets. The capital city of Valletta is pedestrian only with a ring road that you can drive around, and that's it. So you can really set up your stool and sketch anywhere in downtown Valletta. The food is fantastic, super great, super friendly, got a cool sort of Italian vibe to it. And Renata, you and I have fun when we go off with our workshops, don't we?
Yeah, we have nice people also.
Yeah, we have great people. Yeah. So so if you have questions,
There's a question. What are the costs? What should we bring? What about what you should bring? What do you mean?
So they must be meaning what kind of sketching equipment. So the sketching equipment is on the webpage at www.studio56.com. And on our webpage, if you go there on the pull down menu called Travel Workshops, you will see the one for Malta. And there, Renata has put a list of supplies that are needed. But really, really, Renata is a minimalist and she keeps a very small bag. It's only this big that she carries with her sketching things, and then a stool to sit on, and that's it. We don't want any easels, we don't want a lot of expensive equipment, nothing like that.
Yes, the idea is easy, and so you are able to sketch everywhere and not carrying everything, and then you spend a lot of time choosing which color you are going to take or which material and all this.
Yeah, that's right. All right, well, thank you everybody for coming, and hope that we answered your questions. And if you have more questions that you want to ask, please email me and be happy to chat with you. Renata, great to see you. Hey, buddy. All right, have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
See you. Thank you to be here. Bye.
Okay, bye.